And with that, I think I'll just go ahead and introduce our guest because I know that everybody's anxious to hear what the NASA administrator has to say. I first met Charlie Bolden in Denver a number of years back, and it was at an event for a group called Shades of Blue. Now, Shades of Blue is a group that works with children, disadvantaged children, inner city kids in the Denver area. And it's a group that was formed by a bunch of United Airlines pilots. And we have a great deal of fun working with Shades of Blue. And Charlie had flown out to Denver on his own dime to be there for this fundraising dinner for this group because of his personal commitment to education and to educating the next generation. And so that's where I first started to get to know Charlie Bolden. By the way, the guy who heads up Shades of Blue is an amazing heavy metal pilot, Willie Daniels, and I thought I saw Willie in the room. Are you here, Willie? Thank you for all you do, Ben. I appreciate it. So that was my introduction to Charlie, and I've had a chance to talk to some of his crewmates. I thought rather than going over his official biography, I think everybody in the room knows that he's a true American hero in every sense of the word, and we're extremely proud of him and extremely happy that he's at the helm. But there's a few other things you may not know about Charlie. For one thing, did you know he was a vampire? I have this on authority of Brian Duffy, who flew with you, Charlie, on STS-45. Charlie's about dying over here. They had a two-shift system, the red flight and the blue flight, and for some reason Charlie showed up for every shift and never slept. And they couldn't figure out how he did that, but your secret's out. Charlie was also the first shuttle commander to present an Academy Award from space. From the flight deck of STS-45 again, he presented the Oscar to George Lucas for his body of work with the Star Wars films. And Charlie is also, Star Trek fans, the first spaceship commander to fire a real photon torpedo in space. There was an experiment on board that had to do with trying to create an artificial aurora, and he fired the first true photon torpedo. And probably most impressive is that Charlie and his crewmates, in addition to being outstanding astronauts in every sense of the word, apparently were also prodigious beer drinkers. After their flight on STS-45, you've been ratted out, Charlie. They were invited to Belgium by the king, and they decided that, Belgium being the home of great beer, that they were going to work their way through every single Belgian beer, not understanding the monumental nature of that challenge. So they limited themselves to trying every dark Belgian beer, and they almost made it. So Charlie, as you come up on stage, I would like to present you with your very own Golden Bee beer mug. It's inscribed to Charlie Bolden, NASA Administrator. It exceeds $25 in value, so I'm not going to give it to you. We're going to store it at the Golden Bee, and you can actually use it whenever you come. And what does meet the government giving guidelines is this Golden Bee sticker, which I'll put.
Thank you.
Welcome, Charlie.
Thank you
very much.
Elliot, thanks very much, and thanks to all of you. Before I get into any formal remarks, Elliot has opened the door, and everything he said is true. I'm glad I don't have to deny it. At the time that the STS-45 crew went with our Viscount, Dirk Fremont, who was the Alan Shepard of Belgium, the erstwhile monks in Belgium were producing, I think the count, and Brian Duffy can help me, I think it was 440 varieties of beer. And we were only going to be there for 10 days, but we thought we could do it. And I have to admit, I think we got through 40 in 10 days. And that was impressive, because some of the beers are pretty good. All of them are pretty good. The other thing that I want to kind of mention, because I'm going to comment about some things that we're about to do, and some of the controversy about what we're about to do, I think a lot of it comes from people who are nervous about doing new things. But Willie Daniels over here, and I think I saw his hand come up back there, but if anybody wants to talk to Willie or talk to people in Shades of Blue, I first met Willie Daniels when I was a very young astronaut candidate. I may have finished my candidacy year, and so I may have been an unflown astronaut, but Willie came to Houston on a routine basis with a group of aspiring airline professionals. This was 1984-ish, I think. Is that about right, Willie? 82? Okay, why? Wow. The purpose of their coming was to learn about the shuttle and to work with a guy named Frank Hughes, who was the lead training guy for us in the astronaut office, in converting our shuttle training manuals from NASA to commercial. Because Lockheed, Boeing Aircraft, a number of other commercial entities had decided that, that NASA, in its desire to avoid becoming, quote unquote, tied down with having to do the day-to-day operations of the shuttle and not be able to do the types of exploration that was expected of us, that we should probably try to phase the shuttle into a commercial venture. And I actually Willie was kind enough to send me 2 big, thick 3-ring binders that contain the training manuals that were developed over the course of the time that group existed. And, it will never be known whether it would have been successful, because something happened that changed all of our lives who are in the space business, and that was Challenger. And when the Challenger accident occurred, all thoughts of commercializing the shuttle and all thoughts of going a different way kind of went away. Pete Aldrich is here, and he will tell you the Air Force kind of decided, human space flight is good, but not for us. And so they disbanded the MSE program and disassembled Slick 6, which was to have been the shuttle launch facility in Vandenberg that would allow us to go into polar orbit. Bob Crippen and his crew that were to have been the first shuttle crew to launch out of Vandenberg into polar orbit on a classified mission, and were months away from flying, as a matter of fact, were disbanded, and the rest is history. So, I think I would invite all of us to, and I have to be careful, I have to parse my words here. I would invite all of us to kind of sit back, take a deep breath, kind of look back in time at the history of space and human space exploration to find out things that we thought we could do that we almost did, but something happened, something unforeseen. And so I would say, as we are about to do something that a lot of people don't think we can do, again, take a deep breath and help us figure out a way to make these things work, because I'm convinced we can do it. We've come awfully close so many times before. But again, Elliot, let me thank you very much for the kind introduction, and to all of you for the opportunity to speak today. It's